trusted news source, ABC6 News at Noon.
Right now at noon, we begin with breaking Celtics news. The team addressing the suspension of head coach Ime Udoka for the entire upcoming season. Udoka is accused of violating team policies by taking part in a workplace relationship with a female staff member and allegedly made inappropriate comments toward that woman. The Celtics owner addressing that during a press conference just moments ago, standing by this decision to suspend Udoka for a year.
Unfortunate also that female staff members of the Celtics have been dragged into the public eye, but I personally feel that this is well warranted and appropriate, backed by substantial research and evidence and facts, and so I'm standing by the decision, and Ime has accepted it and has expressed, in fact, appreciation. I don't want to belabor that, but he's been accepting of it, and he's planning to move forward on.
Now, this suspension takes effect immediately. The owner is saying they will make a decision on Ime's future with the organization after the season is over next June. And with Coach Udoka out, the Celtics are calling up a Rhode Islander to lead the team, appointing assistant coach Joe Mazzulla to interim head coach for the upcoming season. Mazzulla, a Johnston native and former standout on the court for Bishop Hendricken High School.
He is just passionate. He is just filled with energy and passion and thinking about other people and teamwork together.
Joe's the best choice to do that, by a long shot. So, you know, as you go through all this whole process, it all hits you. But I think that we have the best people in place to do that, and Joe is the best person to do that in our organization.
Our sports team is going to have much more on all this, starting on ABC6 News first at 4. And now to the weather as we take a live look outside right now with our sky cam. And what a beautiful day. It is a little cooler out there, but you can't ask for much more on the first day of fall, Chelsea.
No, it's gorgeous outside right now. A big difference from yesterday at this time. Obviously, we had some pouring, soaking rain through much of the day yesterday, and now you're seeing sunshine. It is breezy behind that line of rain that came through yesterday. Winds are coming in sustained around 15 miles per hour. There's some gusts at times closer to 30 miles per hour and out of the north-northwest, so that's keeping us very chilly and dry today. We're sitting at 59 degrees in Providence right now. Dew points in the low 40s. That is some very crisp fall air that's in place for our afternoon. Most of us in the mid to upper 50s range, way below where we typically should be for this time of year. Average highs are still in the low 70s, and we're also running 10 to 15 degrees cooler right now compared to yesterday. Obviously, yesterday was very rainy, but it was a mild morning yesterday. We didn't warm up a ton, but it was mild and muggy out there, at least to start the day. Satellite radar image right now shows you a lot of sunshine across southern New England. A few thicker clouds out towards the Cape and the islands for far southeast Mass. Otherwise, we're going to continue to see plenty of sunshine, just breezy conditions as the day progresses, only hovering around 60 degrees. Now, by 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, we're back down to low 50s, 40s by tomorrow morning. I'll let you know if we warm up at all through the weekend in just a few minutes. Doreen?
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Some scary moments for some residents at a Pawtucket apartment complex this morning. Some of them woke up to a burning sensation in their eyes and saw the fire department coming inside. ABC6 News reporter Yanni Triguelas tells us what the fire department says caused a hazmat response there.
2 people taken to the hospital earlier this morning here on an apartment complex on Mineral Spring Ave in Pawtucket after fire crews telling me there was a chemical leak inside of the building that caused a severe odor of chlorine. Now, crews tell me that they are still working to find the source of that leak, with hazmat crews currently inside the building.
We immediately realized that there was chlorine gas that had filled the building.
A frightening morning for residents on Mineral Spring Ave in Pawtucket as they were awakened to the smell of chlorine and forced to evacuate their building due to a leak somewhere inside. Hazmat crews scouring the building throughout the morning to locate the source of that leak. And as a result of this, 2 people sent to the hospital.
Took those to the hospital. As I'm being told, they're both doing fine now as it is.
One man living in the building next door described being woken up to the chemical spill.
We woke up to the fire department coming in. There's a big burning sensation in our eyes. We're all coughing. Come to find out, I mean, they were doing some work on the septic system a few days back, and probably surely maybe poured some chlorine down there and something backfired.
Fire Chief William Conroy says crews were able to contain the spill to the affected building. and there was no other danger to the public, but also said hazmat teams have not been able to locate the source, saying it would take them at least a few more hours and possibly even longer.
Called for a regional hazmat team, and at this time we're still trying to figure out the source, but we just don't know exactly what it is yet.
Crews remained on scene here on Mineral Spring Ave in Pawtucket, continuing to try to locate the source of that spill. And Murray telling me he's not sure when the residents inside of this apartment building may be able to get back inside their apartments. Reporting in Pawtucket, Yanni Tregelis, ABC6 News.
All right, Yanni, thank you. And residents of 2 Massachusetts communities under a boil water order after E. coli was found in water samples. North Attleboro and Plainville residents being told that all water used for cooking, drinking, brushing teeth, washing dishes, or fruit prep should be boiled for at least 1 minute prior to use, or use bottled water as an alternative. The town is providing that. Plainville's town administrator Brian Noble tells ABC6 the order was put in place out of an abundance of caution after samples came back positive for E. coli.
Is the most heavily regulated product in Massachusetts by the Department of Environmental Protection. And that's why we were so quick to shut the system down, because of the protocols that are in place that prevent sending out unclean water.
Both towns will continue this advisory until all samples come back clean. They'll call all the residents when the advisory is lifted. Both towns are offering bottled water for residents. You can find more information on where and when to get it, along with information about actions to take under this advisory on our website. That's abc6.com. And happening now, the Rhode Island Public Utilities Commission is holding a meeting to vote on a proposal for Rhode Island Energy to increase rates. The proposed rate hikes by Rhode Island Energy would cost Rhode Islanders an extra $50 a month on their electric bill and an extra $200 a year for natural gas. If approved by the commission, the hikes would start October 1st. And Rhode Island's governor toured new infrastructure improvements at fisheries in Galilee today. The governor toured a crab company that's putting an investment into its business. He says as a result of money put into his budget to help fishing in Galilee. It's that public and private partnership he hopes will help the area.
So we put money in the budget to help support the fishing industry right here down in Galilee. And so this is an example right here of the work that's being done on all the docks to make sure that the infrastructure can support the fishing industry down here in Galilee. We got one of the busiest fishing ports on the Northeast, and we want to support that.
Again, the governor just wrapped up that tour a short time ago. And RIPTA says all school trips ran on time this morning after 2 days of high school students in Providence struggled to catch a ride to class as the transportation agency faces staffing problems. Several times this week, RIPTA canceling multiple routes, leaving students to find an alternative way to class. A spokesperson for RIPTA says it is facing a severe shortage of drivers. And still to come here on the news at noon, signs of an exodus in Russia as Putin calls for a mobilization of troops to send to fight in Ukraine. The latest on Hurricane Fiona, as so many in Puerto Rico and other islands are picking up the pieces, others are right in the thick of it. And later, holiday hiring, just how many some major retailers are looking to employ this season. Now to the crisis in Ukraine. Across Russia, signs of a mass exodus following President Putin's call to mobilize more troops to fight his war in Ukraine. This as Moscow is pressuring Ukrainian citizens to support joining Russia or face punishment or worse. ABC's Justin Finch reports.
At the border of Russia and Georgia, bumper-to-bumper traffic lasting as long as half a day as Russians flee the Kremlin call for some 300,000 reservists to join their fight in Ukraine.
Think about what the Vietnam War did to the social fabric in the U.S. when young men were asked to go fight for a war that they didn't believe in. That may be what we're seeing here in Russia.
Neighboring Finland reportedly considering banning most Russians from entry through their shared border. The newly enlisted bidding tearful farewells before boarding buses bound for battle. Ukraine's President Zelensky speaking in Russian, urging Russia's new recruits who want to survive to protest, fight, run away, or surrender to Ukrainian captivity. Russia is now readying to hold false referendum votes in 4 occupied regions of Ukraine, declaring those territories as part of Russia. That referendum kicking off as Russia launches more raids in Ukraine. Ukrainian officials releasing new video of aftermaths of a Russian strike on a Zaporizhia hotel and a theater in Mykolaiv. Just weeks ago, Ukraine reclaimed the city of Izium. The Russian flag there now fills trash bins and is used for doormats. ABC's Tom Sufi Burrich finding Izium's now freed citizens are starving.
Well, you can hear and see how desperate these people are for humanitarian aid. They've been living under Russian occupation for months, and they still live close to the front line.
Ukrainian officials now reporting the discovery of 436 bodies exhumed from a burial site, with 30 showing signs of torture. Back to that Russian referendum, it's set to last until next Tuesday, and there is concern in the West that Russia will use it as a pretext for a nuclear strike. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
And still to come here on the news at noon, Hurricane Fiona still so powerful. Officials in Canada are on alert. And we'll check in with Chelsea for more on Fiona's impact here right after this. Now to the latest on Hurricane Fiona barreling up the Atlantic Ocean, tearing past Bermuda overnight, now heading to Canada. The storm is now back to a Category 4. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Hurricane Fiona slamming Bermuda overnight with winds up to 130 miles per hour prior to making landfall. 4 inches of rain expected to come down.
My storm showers.
Our Rob Marciano on the ground there.
Hurricane Fiona has been slamming Bermuda since about midnight, and we are in the southeast quadrant of this storm, which is the strongest quadrant. Matter of fact, the wind field, the hurricane force wind field, has expanded to over 110 miles an hour with Category 3 force winds.
70% of the island now without electricity, and that number will likely go up.
I have lots of water, snacks, canned meat, mostly non-perishables I purchased for the storm.
The president of the power company there telling ABC they are prepared, but no crews will be sent out until the storm has passed. So it could be some time before power is restored. In Puerto Rico, about 900,000 people still in the dark after Hurricane Fiona barreled through. Officials unable to say when their electricity will be back. Rafael Ramos saying his house was flooded and that the back end had collapsed. He says he lost everything. President Biden vowing to help, announcing the federal government will cover 100% of cleanup costs in Puerto Rico for the next month. The president says hundreds of FEMA officials are already on the ground.
We'll be with the folks of Puerto Rico now, and until this is done, until we recover.
Fiona is now responsible for at least 8 deaths after pummeling the Caribbean over the last several days. As the storm continues to swell, it is expected to hit eastern Canada as early as tonight. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And now, your ABC6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Chelsea Priest.
Well, the latest update on Fiona from the National Hurricane Center did re-strengthen to a Category 4 hurricane. It briefly went down to a Category 3 with the 5 a.m. update, but now back to Category 4, but moving very quickly to the northeast at 35 miles per hour, now more than 200 miles to the north of Bermuda, and continuing to make that track northward as we head through the coming days. For us here in southern New England, as we know, we're experiencing any major impacts from Fiona, but we do have the high surf advisory in place until 6 p.m. today. So use caution if you're a surfer getting in the water, if you're going down to check out the waves, just be careful. There may even be some minor beach erosion just because of the waves pounding along the coastline both today and tomorrow. So again, just a few concerns there. It just goes to show how powerful and how big that storm is. It's about 1,000 miles away from us, but still bringing impacts here in southern New England. Otherwise, we are being more affected by the cold front that came through yesterday. Behind that cold front, the temperatures have dropped. The breeze is picking up. It's staying windy through the rest of the afternoon, through tonight, through tomorrow as well. Our temperatures are in the mid to upper 50s range across most of southern New England right now, significantly cooler than where they should be for our first day of fall. Average high is still in the low 70s range. Average low is in the mid 50s. So this morning, while we woke up on the cool side of things, was closer to average. Now, that being said, tonight temperatures will continue to drop. We'll be down to the low to mid 40s by tomorrow morning. So we'll be below average to start the day tomorrow. It'll be a real chilly start to our day tomorrow. Again, a lot of this because of the breeze from the northwest. Coming in 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained. Some gusts coming in 20 to 30 miles per hour. Continuing to pump in some cooler than average temperatures and some really dry air in place. Dew points are in the upper 30s and low 40s. That is some crisp fall air that we have to enjoy outside for today. Satellite radar image shows you that most of us have sunshine. There's a few fair weather clouds passing through the area, a few thicker clouds out towards the Cape, out over the islands, but most of us are seeing bright conditions today. That cold front from yesterday continues to push offshore, continues to guide all of that cloud coverage and the storm Fiona farther away from the Atlantic seaboard. We'll continue to see a brief high pressure system in control for today and for tomorrow. It just stays breezy, even with the high pressure coming into control. Cold front pushing offshore, clear conditions overnight, but it stays breezy outside. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s by tomorrow morning. Some feel like temperatures down into the 30s. Tomorrow looks like a nice bright day. High temperatures will be a little bit warmer into the upper 60s range, a little bit closer to seasonal averages. And then as we head into Sunday, you'll see partly sunny conditions for most of the day. A little bit of scattered rain activity off to our west, perhaps late Saturday night. Some rain showers coming in, and we'll be staying seasonable into the start of next week. Low 60s today. It's a breezy, chilly day, mainly sunny. There's some clouds out through far eastern Mass. Overnight, you have breezy and cold conditions. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s. Factor in the breeze, we'll be feeling a few degrees cooler than this, so get ready for a chilly night ahead of us. Tomorrow, we'll see temperatures in the upper 60s, so we do turn things around. It's still a bit breezy outside, still seeing gusts in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. But overall, sunshine tomorrow. A little bit warmer as we head into Sunday morning, but still a cool night. And then Sunday, we have temperatures back into the low 70s for Monday and for Tuesday, with some scattered rain into next week, but coming back up into some seasonal averages through the end of the weekend. So this morning was cool.
Yep.
Tomorrow morning is going to be even colder.
Oh yeah, bundle up. We have an 8 a.m. soccer game.
It's going to be cold on
Yes,
the soccer field
thanks.
tomorrow morning.
Okay, hot coffee
Extra layers.
in hand.
Yep.
Thanks, Chelsea. Still to come here on the news at noon. It'll soon cost more to ship by FedEx. The delivery giant planning to raise rates. And a pinchy window problem. More on Tesla's recall of over 1 million vehicles. Checking some consumer news now. Need a holiday job? Well, hiring is about to get underway. Target plans to hire up to 100,000 workers nationwide this shopping season. And Walmart says it's taking on about 40,000 new employees. That is a drop from last year when Walmart hired about 150,000 workers for the holidays and into the new year. The hiring plans come as consumer demand drops amid inflation. You can expect to pay more to ship items via FedEx next year. The shipping company announced it expects to raise rates on ground and express shipping in 2023. Customers should expect to pay, on average, 6.9% more to use the services. FedEx is also hiking its freight shipping rates by an average of 6.9 to 7.9%. A major Tesla recall. 1 million vehicles are being pulled because of a finger pinching issue. Windows on the affected Teslas may not retract when an obstruction is detected while they close. The recall covers 4 different models. And Amazon's ebook return policy is reportedly changing. An authors group that's been negotiating with the company says automatic returns will be limited to cases where no more than 10% of a book has been read. And still to come here at noon, we're going to check back in with Chelsea for more on that afternoon forecast. Stay with us. It's definitely fall, Chelsea.
You can tell.
Mhm.
It was the flip of a switch.
Yeah,
We talked about that
it really was.
I know. 7-day forecast is going to show you temperatures today around 60 degrees. It'll be windy outside still, windy overnight. Temperatures down to the low 40s range. Chilly start to our Saturday. From there, we'll start to see those temperatures rebounding into the upper 60s. Windy conditions still on Saturday. On Sunday, we'll wake up in the upper 40s. On Sunday afternoon, temperatures will come up into the low 70s. That's exactly average for this part of the year as we head through the later part of September. I mean, that's almost the final week of September there, the last day of September next Friday. We do have some scattered showers in the forecast. Temperatures a little bit cooler towards the end of next week.
All right, some fall things.
Yes.
All the fall things you said.
A good weekend for it.
Yes.
For sure.
All right, thanks, Chelsea. Thank you for joining us for the news at noon. The news continues 1st to 4. Have a great day, everybody.